The pros and cons of using Google Smart Campaigns for fitness studio owners. That is what we're going to talk about in today's episode. So let's start with what is a Google Smart Campaign. So Google Smart Campaign is essentially where you hand over the reins over to Google to run your advertising for you. You set up the basics, including like the website that you're going to send it to and your geographical area, but then essentially Google decides when and where to show your ads. You don't have any control over what the ad copy says, not really. You don't have any control over what keywords you're bidding on. You really have no control. You're relying on the algorithm to show and display your ads. Now, the positive of this is that if you find the more traditional advanced version of Google Ads to be overwhelming, Smart Campaigns can be really, really good. The other benefit is that Smart Campaigns utilize Google My Business. And so we will actually, for our clients, set up Smart Campaigns because it utilizes Google My Business, which utilizes maps and ties it all together. But it has to be watched because Google can go crazy with where they show your ads if you're not careful. And if you just set up a huge giant budget, they'll just spend the budget and you won't get any return. So let's go in and actually look at what I mean by Google My Business or Google Smart Campaigns. So when you're setting up a smart campaign, you're actually going to want the local store visits and promotions campaign. And you just select local. So you'll have to make sure that your account is connected, your Google My Business with your ad account. But then you can just go continue once it's connected. And then you're going to set up your campaign name, languages. Sometimes that matters, sometimes it doesn't. Your daily budget, which gets into be the confusing part because if you set it to be too big, that doesn't mean you're getting more conversions. There's always a plateau when it comes to Google Ads, so start small on that one. You don't have any control over the bidding. It's always going to be max conversions. You can say conversion optimization, whether it's store visits, phone calls, or driving directions. I always recommend phone calls, pretty self-explanatory. And we're just going to go there because an error occurred. I'll just go into the actual account because store visits and driving directions are pretty arbitrary. It's not really trackable. But then once it's set up, this is a client that's going to take forever to load. Then once it's active and you launch it and you add in your payment information if you have it already, you'll start to see something like this. So you can edit the keywords, and I strongly encourage you to do this because Google will overkill the keywords. So this is the downfall of smart campaigns, is that Google will start throwing in a whole bunch of keywords that actually will just waste your money if you're not watching it. Roofing is not a great keyword for a roofing contractor because that's the company that I'm looking at right now because it's too general. We want it to be more specific. So you do need to go in there and edit them and keep in mind. The negative keywords is actually relatively new, and so is the search terms report, which I recommend that you look at on a regular basis because it'll actually show you the clicks that you're paying for. Like roofer's tool belt, that's not something that we actually want to bid for, and so we are going to add it as a negative. The Zeglin exteriors we're going to add as a negative, and roofing is really general. But this Campania de Roofing, this client does speak Spanish, so that's why I'm leaving it. So you want to go in here and it works, but it doesn't necessarily work very great. Now I want to go back. Why are they not letting me go back? You can edit your ads or adding more and more features into this. So you can go in here and make sure that everything is added. You can upload images. You can edit your landing page and your business info. That's all great and fine and dandy. And then of course your location and budget, but that's kind of where it stops. So like I said, you have to be very, very careful about watching your keywords and watching your ads to make sure that these actually work. They work best because they do tie into your Google My Business and your Google Maps settings, so that's why we still use them with our clients. We do have a tendency to add it like as a phase 2, not a phase 1, and a campaign setup, because traditional search campaigns I can be way more specific and have much more control over. But for a budget for an account like this where they're spending 5K a month, actually 6K, I can then start to expand and do the smart campaigns and this display and video and everything else like that, and start to hone it in. The only thing is, and you can do this really simply yourself, just know that you do have to keep an eye on it. It is not a set it and forget it, because they will spend your money willy-nilly and you will not get the return on it at all. So keep that in mind because it's super, super important. Other than that, it is really easy to set up. And if you don't have the budget to hire somebody to manage your ad accounts, this is a great way to go about it. So don't be shy about trying this out and seeing how you can do. And then you can always try to bring in another advertiser later on to optimize the rest of your campaigns. Just know that there are some limitations in terms of control and getting results. And what we find is the quality of the calls and the quality of the leads are less subpar than a regular search campaign. So you're going to get some crappy calls. Just know that. But it's better than nothing. So keep that in mind. If you have questions about that, leave it in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to your favorite channel. We do stream this on YouTube and the podcast and social media. And lastly, if you want us to audit your Google Ads account, we're more than happy to do that. You can book a call with us. I leave the link in the description so that you don't have to write it down. And book a call with us. It's complimentary, and we'll do an audit for you and give you some ideas on how to optimize and improve them. Hopefully you found this interesting. Let me know if you do or don't, and we will see you next week.